Pairing, here it goes. Okay, we're live. Is everybody ready? I'll let Nancy cough.
All right.
Good, good morning. Welcome to Real Estate Canva Lab with
Grace and Frost.
and Joy Johnson. We're so happy to have you here. We're going to cover the second part of what we covered last week. Last week, we talked about how to use Canva's native AI to create social media content. This week, we're going to talk about how to use your external AI, your LLM, whichever one you like to use the most is the best way to go. It gives you a little more flexibility. I'll talk about that just a little more today, why we might want to use our own. But we're going to use this, do the same structured content. We're going to refine the content. We're going to turn that content into a spreadsheet file, and we're going to bring that file into Canvas Sheets.
Actually, we're going to be bringing that file into Canvas Sheets next week. Next week is all about importing data into your spreadsheet.
Okay, I
All
have
right.
to do a little bit for
Just
this
a tiny bit.
class just to show you how it
Okay.
works, but I'm going to let you get into the nitty gritty next week, Rayson. Yes.
Perfect.
So, yeah. So we're going to talk about a lot. If you were here last week, it's going to be some of the same things, but I'm going to show you how to do it in different tools rather than just in Canva. I'm going to use ChatGPT today. I think a lot of people use it and already have it primed to know their business and understand how they communicate. You could use Claude, you could use Gemini, you could use whichever one you like. I'm going to say the same thing that I said last time, and you'll probably hear it from me lots of times, is plan before you prompt. You're going to be happier. You're not going to be yelling at your little chatty G and or wanting to throw him out the window if you plan before. So think about what kind of post. And I'm going to do the same kind of post. I like Rima laughing because, yeah, I've wanted to do that. I'm going to do the same kind of posts we did last week so you can see what that might look like. So we're going to do 10 evergreen home seller education posts. We're going to choose our columns first. So it depends how visual you are or just how your brain works. We all know how our brain works. I might get this notion that I want to do this and start browsing templates or try to see other content online. So if I wanted to do 10 evergreen home seller, home buyer education posts, there are lots of variations on this. I would probably want a graphic that has a hook, a caption, and a call to action. So when we're thinking about planning our content, we'll do that. I add topic because if there's a topic column, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute, I add a topic because that's how I organize for myself. But we're going to create structured content. We're going to name our audience. We're going to define the project. We're going to specify the number of rows. And don't worry, I have prompts. I was waiting to combine these two classes together, and I'll share the prompts that we use, but you don't need a bunch of random stuff. I'll put it in one document. You're going to name your columns in the order. You're going to give tone and length instructions. You are going to tell your LLM, your AI, what to avoid. You want it to show the content in a clear table so you can review it before you create the file. We're not going to say something like, give me 10 social posts to our AI. We want to be the bossiest boss that ever lived when we talk to our LLMs. We want to tell it absolutely everything we want. And so with that, I'm going to share my screen and I am going to we're going to start doing it. We're going to do it live here. Okay. So we're here. We're visiting our little LLM. I would probably put this in a project, but today I'm going to do it and then I'm going to delete it. So I'm not doing that right now. And this is not an AI class. We are teaching a class about how to create content that we can use in Canva.
And just so we're all on the same page, because if you're just tuning into us on this particular one, this is a series of classes. Will end up being between 10 to 12 classes, with the very first class being all about just the basics of utilizing spreadsheets in Canva. And then class 2 was about utilizing Canva AI. Am I doing this right? Is that right? Class 2 is about how to use Canva AI.
That was class 2.
And then this class is about utilizing external AI for the purpose of creating the content that you'll be using in the spreadsheet in Canva.
And I'm glad you said that, because
Yeah.
it shows how it all goes together. And
Yeah.
pardon me for interrupting you, but it shows how it flows. And we're breaking it into tiny bits so everybody can do bulk create. Go ahead, Rayson.
I was just going to say, and then we'll continue on so that next week will be about importing all different types of data in different ways into the spreadsheet. And then, we'll keep going through the class so that we'll be building on each skill so that at the end, you'll be able to, if you want to, do both basic bulk creation as well as utilize the spreadsheet for some even more advanced features.
I love that. That's the best part, that we're doing it bit by bit. And I hope people are going and playing around with their Canva in between, in between classes every week. I'll also say we did this. I'm creating social media content, but spreadsheets are useful for so many things that you organize. I just organized what I'm taking on a trip in a spreadsheet because I like to see what clothes I'm taking, how to combine them, blah, blah, blah. So spreadsheets are fun for some of us. And if you've ever thought, oh, I can see how spreadsheets are useful, but sometimes they're a little tricky for me to format. Once you master creating spreadsheets by using your AI, your LLM, you can really do anything. It really simplifies the process once you learn the steps. Like anything, once you learn the steps. So here's our prompt. Create content for 10 evergreen social media posts for real estate agents to share with homeowners. Create exactly 4 columns in this order. Topic, hook, caption, CTA. Use 1 post per row. So remember, columns up and down, and every row, your horizontals, are a post. Keep each hook under 8 words, each caption between 30 and 45 words, and each call to action, just to cover so we all know what a call to action is, how you ask people to participate with you. Under 8 words. Use a warm, clear, practical, professional tone. That's my instructive to ChatGPT all the time. And you can actually tell it that in your special instructions in your LLMs. Avoid statistics, legal advice, exaggerated claims, repeated topics, and overly sales-focused language. Show the result as a clear 4-column table so I can review and refine it before creating a spreadsheet file. So you can see that I told it what not to do, and I was very specific about what to do. Again, I was the bossiest boss that ever lived. So I'm going to send this prompt. If it takes too long, I've done this ahead, but it's probably, there we go. It's good and fast this morning. I'm going to make you all smaller here so I can see what's going on. Okay, so you can see the column here. Now I'm going to say what we want to do, and this is where, if you were to ask me, why would I do this in my LLM? Why would I do it in, I'm going to use LLM and AI. I'm going to alternate between them. I think most people call it AI. Technically, they're a language learning model. So that's just a little nerdiness for the day. I think you all probably know that about it. Anyway, why would I do it here instead of in Canva? Because Canva's AI is getting really good. The reason why I would do things here often is because my AI tools know me. They know me, they know my business. I can ask them to personalize things. I can ask them to make this specific to my city. I would name it again because, these things are they can make stuff up, which is why we say no statistics and all those things that I want it to avoid. But this program knows me, and Canvas AI does not know me the same. I have a brand kit and I have a voice in there, but it doesn't know my business. It doesn't know who I work with the most, and this tool does. So I prefer to use my own AI a lot of times for that reason. I also prefer to use it, and we'll just say that we read this. You want to read all of it. Read every row. You are the compliance check, not the AI. The AI is not the compliance check. We want to be careful. We don't do things that violate just any of our standards in our business or laws. So we're going to ask for targeted. This is the other reason why I like it. We're going to do some targeted follow-ups on this content. I'm looking at it and I think, I want some stronger hooks. I want shorter captions. Maybe let's replace a weak or repetitive row. And maybe I want a different call to action. When we did this last week in ChatGPT, I mean in Canva, oh my goodness. In Canva, you could see that I had to do each thing separately. Today, and why I like doing this in Claude, I use both Claude and ChatGPT a lot. Gemini and I do not get along very well. But I can do all these refinements together. I can improve the hooks, keep the same 10 rows and 4-column structure, rewrite only the hook columns so the hooks are more specific, conversational, and attention grabbing. Keep every hook under 8 words. Do not change the topics, the captions, or the CTAs. I also want to shorten the captions. And so I have language here about remove repetition, keep the language natural. Replace one weak row. Replace row 6 with a different topic that doesn't repeat another row. Keep the same 4 columns and same length guidelines. We're going to pretend I read it and the 6th column was weak and I just want to change. But what I like about using AI here is that I can do all these refinements at one time.
While we're waiting on it, I think this is a really great time to mention that one of the great features of if you really, really love and you feel like your voice is really well heard in the external AI program that you're using, a great feature of Canva AI is to import things into Canva AI that you have been using on the spreadsheet, and then to use the continue on to fill in the following rows, and it will fill in based on what you have perfected within ChatGPT when you're ready for kind of a newer, fresh perspective to be in that same vein as before.
And
we went over that, and we went over that in the previous class, so you can watch the recording of that if you would like, if you can't remember.
And I have experimented with that and it comes up with good content. So this is a way to refine what you want to do. Do 5, do 10. I would do 10 just so it has a lot of data and can see what I like. But, you know, get 10 going. Don't wait till you have 30 before you start, or don't wait till you have however many you're looking for. Get started and then use that continue on. I think that is a really good reminder to do that. So we'll say that I read this and I like it. So I am going to ask Canva to create, I'm not Canva, oh my gosh. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, or Uncle Chatty as I call him, to give me a CSV file. So a CSV file is a comma separated vector or something. I forget what. Rayson, do you remember? I'm not remembering right now. And
it is comma separated. I never remember what the V stands for.
I know me either.
Is just values.
Values, common separated values.
Yeah. I couldn't remember for the life of me what it was, and the barking dog didn't help. So I'm asking it to create a downloadable CSV file from the approved content above. And then very specific, use exactly 4 columns in this order, whatever your columns are. Use 1 header row and 1 post per row. Preserve the approved wording exactly. Do not add extra columns, notes, numbering, or commentary. And so it's thinking about how to do this. One thing, when we share these prompts, you know that you can just put different, you can use them as a template. You know, you can keep all this the same. Maybe you have a topic and you have something else entirely. You can put it there. So we have a CSV file. We can download it. This is where I want to say that, and I have a note here, is that some of your AI assistants can connect directly to Canva. This isn't, as we said before, this is not an AI class. So we're not showing that today. We're just showing there are ways to do things. But that can allow you to search, create, edit, or manage Canva content with your AI assistant. Also, capabilities can vary by your AI assistant, your Canva plan, and your workplace permissions. If someone is on, another one I wanted to mention was custom instructions, memory is a shortcut. I have very little brief notes here, but I wanted to make sure you know that your AI assistant might have different permissions. You may have a paid AI assistant and it will do different things. It just depends on which plan you're on, not just which AI you picked. I also want to talk about custom instructions and memory as a shortcut. If you're on ChatGPT Plus or similar, you can set your brand, voice, tone once in custom instructions instead of retyping warm, clear, practical, no nonsense, whatever it is you have. This is just a next level thing you can do if you want it. Your basic workflow still works without a connection. We're not going to connect fields and things today, but I will show you what you do with this spreadsheet. And I'm going to go into Canva to show you that. And I hope, Ray said, I'm not going too far.
No, you're good. Joy, before you do that, could you actually open up the spreadsheet so people can see what it looks like, what the output looks like, the actual spreadsheet?
This one?
Not the Canva one.
Oh, okay.
The
file.
actual spreadsheet. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can share that.
Now, and also to clarify, you know, whether you'll be opening it up utilizing Excel or Google. It's a CSV file, which almost any program, you know, there's Apple has their own thing. There's Excel, Google Sheets. Any of them should be able to open a CSV file, but I just wanted to, you know, so you guys can see. And you notice it does have like the header row, and then it treated that first row. It's a different color as well as it's the topic as a special row. That will not matter for importing it into Canva. So it doesn't matter if it bolds some things or shades some things. Those sorts of things are not going to matter for what we're doing. But you can see that it took the topic, hook, caption, right? All the things she told it to, and the way it looks very similar to how it expressed it on the actual ChatGPT page. But this is how it looks in the actual sheet.
This is how it actually looks. This is the formatting that it gave us. So I don't want to overstep my boundary today, but I am going to cover just briefly, very briefly, what this is going to look like. I lost my page though. I don't know why I didn't tab through there. But now I'm looking for my page because sharing is always fun when everybody's watching and you're trying to be.
Okay, and while you're doing that, I'll fill in. So just a reminder that utilizing Canvas Sheets can do way more than just bulk create. So it can help you create checklists. It can help you create timelines, all sorts of things. You know, it can have you input data that can be turned into charts. Like there's all sorts of things that you can do with it. So if you're creating, utilizing external AI to create information, it is very important that you are very clear on what you expect your spreadsheet to look like in the end, so that there's not, you know, importing issues. But you can utilize it for way more than just social media post ideas.
100%. Perfect. I don't know why I can't find my page now. It's doing something funny for me, but since Rayson's going to show you next week how to import it, I am just going to show you that this is what it will look like. I put the color in there and I put the white. I made it look pretty because I like it that way.
I also always put that header row, the one that names the columns. I also always make that visually different, whether it's just bolding it or,
Right.
like she did, having a colored background.
It's easier for me. I'm going to show it to you live here. For a moment, it wasn't letting me open that.
And if you have questions about this, we're going to go over this in detail, a variety of different ways for importing data next week. But this would also be a good place to do a quick reminder on how to do the fill in additional rows. I think would be a really good thing to do after you do this.
That's a great call out. Yes. So one thing I wanted to show you, if you start playing with this and you want to move ahead and see what you can do, when you have that file, it's going to say add template as new page. You want to, or replace current page, replace your blank page. And there you have it. And then you can play around with how you like this to look. I have preferences on how I like it to look that make me happy. I have to move y'all. I like wraparound text because I want to see it. I have my CTA. As I've said multiple times, I'm extremely visual. So for me, I have to do a few things that make me understand what I'm looking at. And you may or may not be the same way.
And if you need a refresher or you're referring people to videos and you want full details on how to utilize it, this was our very first class, was all about the details of utilizing the class itself.
Yes, I did. Exactly. Is it this one? I haven't done it.
So you have to, so you want to, the best way to do it is to select. I usually start at the top and then select down, like, let's say this is 10 rows and you actually want, I would go up to the top. Yeah. Like that. And then don't do that. This is the thing. If you use this square button and you do what she's doing, it just did it. It just replaced everything.
I know.
You cannot, to select, you have to hold like the shift bar.
Yep.
And go down to bottom right. That's going to do the entire column all the way down to however far you want.
We had this conversation before. Yeah. Right.
Hold on. You need to hold on. You can't, it'll do everything. You don't want to do this. You want to select. Nope. Select number 2. Use your cursor to select 2A.
Okay. Oh, I went back
too far.
Okay. 2A.
2A. Now hit the slide down, hit the shift key.
Yes, ma'am.
Slide down.
Oh, as far as I want to go.
And go to the bottom right. Go like down to like 20D.
Yes. That's how you did it last time. Thank you. I forgot. It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
And then you do, I'm looking for it here.
Yeah, right here. Fill empty cells.
Fill empty cells.
And then it generates.
Yeah. And it will fill up to 20 rows. So you did pretty good. Yeah.
I did a lot. Yeah.
Well, you did another 10, 15.
I'm just going to let it finish. You can say more like this. You can say this, but, and you can change things. If you don't like it, you can add more and then you can insert. So it just filled those out. They're pretty good. Read it again. I'm going to be a broken record and I'm going to tell you every time, read it all. Do not trust the machines to speak for you. This is to help you, to make your life easier, not to replace you. You cannot be replaced. Change these things so they sound like you. And verify everything that you read here. I am going to stop here today because our point was just to show you how you can do this. I will also show you, but not in detail, that you can, when you want to, let's start another sheet.
And we do have a couple questions. So
Great.
which is we're right on time. It's
We're right on
8:27.
time.
So it's 8:27. So I do want to make sure we
Perfect.
answer questions.
I will tell you, I have my LLM, my AIs connected to Google Sheets. You can
And that's one
literally
of the things that
go,
we're going to cover next week.
yeah, we're going to
All
cover
about.
it in the future, but you can literally, if you do that, go into Google. You can also upload from Google Sheets. You can go
Yeah.
into Google Sheets and get it. But I have mine connected, so it's very easy. I can go into Google Sheets, I can come up with this, and there it is. And that
So
will be part of
one of the
next week.
questions is all of this will fit in Facebook, Instagram, etc. So I think the question is, doing this for Canva Sheets, will this work for the different things that you want to post? Do you want to answer that, or do you want me to, Joy?
Will it? I'm not quite
Okay,
sure
so
what
the
you
answer
mean,
is
will it work?
the answer is yes, because the answer is yes, because what's going to happen is that after you get your data organized, then you're going to go after we get all of your data ready, then we're going to move on to creating your social media post templates. And then we'll be connecting the data and the templates together. And so you can do that when you create your templates, you're going to be creating templates for the different formats.
Right.
So you'll have, a template for whatever size you want for LinkedIn, whatever size you want for Instagram, right? So you'll be in charge of creating what it visually looks like.
Thank you. I wasn't sure what the question was.
I believe that answers your question, right, Linda?
If we have any of them posted and we are, trying to clean all this up, we went through bulk create the whole thing, beginning to end before, and it was too much. But you'll see where we came down here. I like to use this format when I'm working in Canva, and
yes,
said
and
social
so
media, and I'm going to find an Instagram post, and then I'm going to work within everything. But we're not going to do that today because that's not today's class.
You're in charge of creating
Yeah.
the template and the format for whichever social media place you want, and we'll be covering that through in the few next steps as we move along.
And we're going to get into every detail. I hope this reassures you we're in the nitty-gritty.
The other thing, because I think it's a great thing to keep in mind, is you notice that one of the things we talked about was adding these extra 20 or whatever after you've already figured out what works for you. So part of that means the very first time you do this, you shouldn't create 100, things. You're going to be creating 5, maybe 10. You'll be creating the templates. You'll be making sure it works so that you can fine tune it. If for you and the place that you like to post, or for your audience, it works better with, only, maybe you're appealing to an audience who only wants to see, instead of captions that are 10 to 20 words long, maybe it's only a 10-word caption, right?
Right.
So you have to know your audience a little bit in terms of that. And that's why it's great to do a tester. And then once you've figured out what works for you, using that, magic extend more is a great tool to keep coming up with new features, both within your external AI, you can keep doing that, but also to get kind of a different perspective. Y'all notice if you've worked with multiple AIs, you put the same instructions and you're going to get slightly different outputs, right? From ChatGPT versus Gemini versus Claude versus Canva AI. So if you're looking for ways to refresh your content after you've figured out, oh, this is the type of hook that works. Oh, these are the types of call of actions that work. And that how to do that is a whole nother class, right?
That's a whole other class, but I'm going to jump on that and say, yes, test
a whole other topic.
Do not spend your whole day working on that. Well, it doesn't take all day, obviously, because I just did it live here, but don't spend your time creating tons of content before you test it. Do 5 to 10, see what works, see what your audience likes. And just, I know I mentioned it once before, put your place in there. When you're creating content, make sure that you are, I kept this very generic, but mention your place. That's going to help you get found on social media. A lot of the time too, I'll do this kind of thing and then I'll go in and I'll ask the AI, give me three hashtags or something. We're not using hashtags as much these days, but a couple of well-placed local hashtags can really help you get found, or mentioning local places. I often would mention, I will like to mention local places because then your content may get shared. So think about this is more than just an exercise in using AI. Use AI to speed you up, but put your personal spin on it. Make this yours. Have
So
fun
like
with it.
Brooks, I know is focusing on seniors. So what he's going to put in is going to be different. When he, thinks about writing social media posts for using bulk creation, he may want a series on, let's say, specifically things that seniors that are downsizing or selling or whatever the word is, he's going to put that in for his details, but he's also going to do it for his place of where he is, right? So if he knows that there are, let's say, 5 retirement communities in his area, he might tell his chat GPT, research and make sure you're highlighting these, X retirement communities in my area when you're include that in what you're creating for me, right? So
Right.
the more specific and detailed that you can be with both your niche, your audience, as well as your local area, then the better your content is going to stand out to promote you and your brand. And that's true
Absolutely.
for all use of AI, right?
All use of AI. Make sure your AI understands who your ideal client avatar is. Make sure it really, really knows who you are. Again, be the bossiest boss that ever lived. There are certain words I don't want mine to use. I don't like to hear it. If you say boasts in a in a listing description, chat GPT, you're fired. So just don't be afraid to be bossy. I know it's hard because we're so used to talking to humans. Don't talk to humans like you talk to AI, but don't talk to AI like you talk to humans.
And that's a great last thing I want to say is that's a great reminder that bulk creation can also be utilized for listings, right?
Mhm.
For your listing contents. You may have very specific things and unique things about a listing, and you could tell it, hey, I'd like you to create, X number of content highlighting these, individual specific pieces for my listing, right? The
Yeah.
things are kind of cool. So
100%.
yeah,
I mean, there's so
lots
much you
of
could do.
options.
And I think we will probably have a class that talks more about that.
Yeah. Awesome.
But that's not this class. So this class is over today. Thank
It
you all
is.
for your time. We really appreciate it. I love that there are two of us because you can see the whole shift and, you know, uh, grabbing things is not my strong suit. Rayson talks me through it every time, even when we're working on something together, because it's not mine. I just want to drag and drop and all that stuff. But my point is, you get two perspectives. You get two for the price of one, and we love that you spend your Wednesday morning with us. We'll see you next time.
Bye,
Thank you
everyone.
guys.
Bye.